Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kimberly Edwards from cookingwithkimberly.com. I'm taking a break from working online, as you guys may have seen me online all day on Facebook for sure. Came into the kitchen and what did I see? A ripening banana, which definitely we will not eat like this. We might feed it to the dogs like this, but I'm not going to eat it like this. I like mine like almost green. So whenever I think of bananas that are ripe, I think of banana bread. And although I don't really eat a lot of sweets, I'm not crazy about banana bread myself, but I do make a mean banana bread. I usually give it to friends or family, or mom will enjoy it. So what I'm basically doing is I'm winging this recipe today, basically. I don't have all the ingredients I typically would, and I like to do different things. And usually when I get in the kitchen and my brain just starts running, I just roll with it and hope for the best. So today, I'm mashing up this banana, and we're going to use a basic recipe that I have on the website. You'll see, and it's for, I believe it's for banana strawberry bread. But I'm using just the basic amounts for that and kind of substituting as I need. So what I've done is I've just mashed up this banana, put it in a bowl, mashed it with a masher. Easy peasy, simple. Get rid of this. I'm mixing all the wet ingredients in one container and all the dry ingredients in one, and then I'm going to mix them together. This recipe requires 2 eggs, so just break 2 eggs up in here. White, brown, doesn't matter, whatever you want to use. I'm just going to mix this up just to get the eggs broken up a little bit. The recipe needs approximately half a cup of water. What I like to do is I use my tea that I haven't drank that's cold in the pot, just for a little bit more flavor, or you can use water. So that goes in the wet ingredients as well. You're going to need about a half a cup of oil of some kind. Today I am using peanut oil just because it has a little bit more flavor. Canola doesn't really have any flavor. Other oils you could use, maybe coconut would be nice with banana, that's for sure. So I'm using half a cup of oil, mixing that in the wet ingredients as well. My recipe on the site for that other banana bread requires 2 bananas. So instead of having 2 bananas, I only had 1 today. So what I'm doing is I'm going to beef it up a little bit with some other fruit that I found. I have already done a strawberry bread for you, so I'm not going to do that again today. I have blueberries, didn't really feel like it. Saw some cranberries in the cupboard, so I'm going to use the cranberries. I'm going to dump actually all of them in here. And I'm going to put it in the wet ingredients just so that they can plump up a little better and they're not so hard. But what that means is I need a little bit more liquid in my recipe because these are dry instead of a wet fruit, right? So what I'm doing is, instead of my brown sugar that I would usually use, I'm going to use some jam, which is a wet ingredient. I have a little bit left of this. I have some raspberry that I'm using up that really I'm not going to use for anything else right now. And a little bit of apricot. Whatever you have in your fridge, you know what? You just substitute and you wing it. So I'm going to throw that in. That's going to be a little bit more wet too. Mix all that up in the wet ingredients. Put this out of my way. And I just broke a glass. That's awesome. I guess I'll clean that up later. So I'm just going to mix this up. I'm going to let this sit. Next I'm going to get, oh wait, 1 second. I'm going to use a little bit of honey as well, because I didn't quite have 2 tablespoons there. This is local honey that we get at our health food store. I'm just going to mix that in there. Like that. I've already preheated my oven to 350, which is what you should do because this only takes a couple seconds to mix up and make. I'm just going to wash my hands quickly. Here is a flour that I found in my pantry. I have no idea what kind of flour it is. There's nothing wrong with it. I just buy a bunch of bulk stuff. I guess it must have lost the tag. So we're again winging it again. I'd like to use it up today. So I need 2 cups of flour. We're going to see what the consistency of this is before we put it into bake, because you might need to add either a little bit more wet or a little bit more dry, depending upon what happens with your substitutions today. So here, into the bowl, easy peasy. 1 cup. So you can store your flours in your pantry, or you can store them in bags and put them in your freezer, which also helps. The rest of the flour that I need, since I don't have enough for 2 cups, not quite, I just substituted the rest with plain old all-purpose white flour. Now, to make this a little bit more healthy, what I like to do is I add a little bit of wheat germ, and it's in the freezer. I usually store it so that it doesn't go bad. 2 tablespoons of wheat germ. And I'm also going to use a little bit of flaxseed. You can use any seeds you like. You can use sunflower seeds, you can use flax seeds, sesame seeds, chia seeds. I use seeds a lot. If you see my recipes, you know exactly what I'm talking about, especially when I'm baking. So here is 1 tablespoon of flax seeds. I also keep them in my freezer. It keeps them from going bad and rancid because they have protein in them. So I'm just mixing that in a great big mixing bowl, all the dry ingredients, so that you can evenly distribute everything before you get the wet ingredients in there. Now, of course, any baking recipe, any good baking recipe requires some baking powder and baking soda. So here's the baking soda. I need 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. See how easy this is, guys? You just wing it. You use what you have and you just go with it. So that's about 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of baking powder. You can sift this in if you want, if you feel like you have chunkies in your containers. That happens sometimes when you don't use it or bake it so often. So there's my dry ingredients for the most part. Let me just make sure I've got everything. Yeah, those are my dry ingredients. Grab a spoon. Mix them up quickly. And in goes my wet ingredients that I'm hoping will give me the right consistency for what I'm looking for this quick bread. Now quick breads aren't the kind. Quick breads are the ones that you put in the oven and they don't require to rise prior to baking. So instead of like the breads that I have for the bread machine or anything like that, these are quick breads. That means they don't have to rise, which is awesome. That's why you put baking soda and baking powder in there. That's the thing that helps them rise, as well as the egg. So in goes my wet ingredients. You're going to mix this evenly, quickly. Like that other spoon better. I'll show you what I got going on here. So you're just going to mix that in. Looks to me like it's a little bit dry. So what does that mean? That means you need a little bit of liquid, right? What I think I'm going to do now, I'm trying to let you in on how my brain works in the kitchen. Just 1 second. I'm going to add a little bit more water to this, just to moisten it up a bit. And you're just going to eyeball it. You don't want it to be completely wet. You don't want it to be very dry. You want it to be slightly runny, but with a texture that sticks together. That looks almost about right. You want it to be able to like kind of pour a little bit like that and put just a hint more water. Now you can use tea, you might even want to use yogurt, which is what I was looking for in the fridge but can't seem to find today. That looks just about right. Here's the consistency you're looking for, if that helps you. Okay, so right now my oven is preheated. What I'm doing is I'm taking a loaf pan, something that looks like this. This is a non-stick, however, I still grease it up or put non-stick spray in. That's what I'm doing today. Spray that up. So simple. Pour all this mixture into the loaf pan. My oven is preheated at 350. Just FYI. That's a pretty good temperature gauge to use for a quick bread. Now you can get creative with this. You've seen a bunch of different recipes on the site that I've done with mangoes and apples, with banana and strawberry, and you know what? The sky's the limit on ingredients. Just try and keep a balance of sweetness. Make sure you get a little bit wet, a little bit dry. Use seeds, use nuts if you like, roast them up. You can do all kinds of things. Now, that's basically what you're looking at. Clean up the sides so it doesn't burn all ugly. This is what I'm putting in my oven. My oven is going to bake that 350, and it's going to be in there for 40 to 50 minutes. What you're going to do after about 40 minutes, let's say, you're going to go in there with a long knife or something like that, like a toothpick, big long toothpick or spear, whatever, and test the middle to see if it's wet. If it comes out and it's dry, it comes right out, then you're done. Let this sit out on your oven for about 10 minutes or on a cooling rack. Take it out and let it cool before you slice it and eat it. Otherwise it'll burn you and it's all gonna fall apart. It's gonna be a little bit delicate, I should say. If it comes out wet, keep it in there for maybe 5 minutes at a time. Keep checking it in different spots. See if it comes out. You're looking for a clean tool to come out, right? And then it's done. Serve this with milk, with tea, with whatever. You can have it for breakfast, a snack, or even for dessert at dinner time or anything like that. So I do hope that you try this recipe out. I let you in on how my brain works in the kitchen. Try it out yourself. And let me know how this recipe works out for you. I'm going to post it on the site today and the video, and I hope all is well. Make sure you check out the YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/cookingwithkimberly. Twitter is @cookingwithkime with a capital E. And go to facebook.com/cookingwithkimberly for the fan page. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm Kimberly Edwards with cookingwithkimberly.com. Eat deliciously. Ciao, ciao.